A penalty kick should be simple: one player, one goalkeeper, one shot. But in football, nothing is ever that straightforward. Over the years, penalties have delivered not just goals, but chaos, confusion, and unforgettable drama. From outrageous tricks to the most heartbreaking misses, some moments became legends for all the wrong or right reasons. Today on Goal Rush, 10 Panenka's audacities. 1976, Zinedine Panenka changed football forever in the 1976 European Championship final. With Czechoslovakia facing West Germany in a penalty shootout, Panenka calmly chipped the ball down the middle to win the title.
Antonin Panenka! Oh, it's genius! Sandmeyer dives!
It was cheeky, risky, and totally unheard of at the time. Goalkeepers were stunned, fans were shocked, and the move instantly became iconic. Now called the Panenka, the style has been copied by countless players from Zidane to Pirlo. But back then, it was madness. If it failed, Panenka would have been ridiculed for life. Instead, he became a legend. That one penalty wasn't just crazy, it reshaped how footballers approached the spot kick forever. 29 Johan Cruyff's past penalty 1982, leave it to Johan Cruyff to reinvent the penalty. Playing for Ajax in 1982, Cruyff shocked the crowd by not shooting directly at goal. Instead, he tapped the ball sideways to teammate Jesper Olsen, who returned it back for Cruyff to score. It looked like genius to some, disrespect to others, but nobody could deny it was wild. The move had only been seen once before in 1957, but Cruyff made it famous.
Johan Cruyff doet het op deze manier. Olsen, Cruyff, goal.
Many have tried copying it since, but few succeed. It remains one of the most creative and craziest penalties ever scored. Only Cruyff could turn a simple spot kick into an unforgettable piece of football art. Thierry Henry disaster. 2005, Arsenal legends Robert Pires and Thierry Henry attempted their own version of the Cruyff pass penalty against Manchester City in 2005. But it went horribly wrong. Pires tried to roll the ball to Henry, but he miskicked it, barely moving the ball. Confused, Henry never connected, and City cleared it. The crowd couldn't believe their eyes. Two world-class players making a playground mistake on Live TV.
What's he done? Well, he pretended to take it and then didn't seem to take it.
It was embarrassing, hilarious, and unforgettable all at once. Instead of being remembered as a genius move, it went down as one of the biggest penalty fails in history. Sometimes, even legends prove that risky tricks can turn into absolute disasters in front of millions. 5-7 Zize's strange run-up 2016 Euro 2016 gave us one of the weirdest penalty misses ever. Italy's Simone Zaza stepped up against Germany in the quarterfinal shootout, but instead of a normal run-up, he performed a bizarre series of tiny stutter steps. By the time he kicked, his rhythm was completely gone, and he blasted the ball over the bar.
Quite a deliberation and wide!
The internet exploded with memes mocking his dancing run-up more than the miss itself. Zaza never lived it down. It became his career's defining moment. It wasn't just a miss, it was a spectacle, and one that still gets replayed whenever fans talk about bad penalties. It was as if comedy met tragedy on the biggest stage possible. Face it, Zidane's Panenka in a World Cup final. 2006, a few players would dare risk a Panenka in a World Cup final, but Zinedine Zidane did just that in 2006.
It's Zinedine Zidane here. Oh, it crossed the line, it's a goal, but how?
Facing Italy, Zidane coolly chipped the ball off the crossbar and into the net. For a moment, fans thought he'd blown it, but the ball bounced over the line. It was pure audacity in the biggest match of his career. Of course, the same game later ended in infamy with his headbutt, but that penalty was unforgettable. To try something so risky on the world's biggest stage is still considered one of the boldest penalty moments in history. Zidane turned a nerve-wracking moment into a masterpiece of confidence. 5 Messi and his perfect pass penalty 2016. In 2016, Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez pulled off what Pires and Henry couldn't. Playing for Barcelona against Celta Vigo, Messi ran up for a penalty but instead passed it sideways to Suarez, who buried it. The crowd went wild and commentators couldn't believe it worked. It was footballing chemistry at its finest. Perfect timing, perfect execution. Instead of humiliation, it became one of the most replayed goals of Messi's career. It was cheeky, fun, and effective. While traditionalists criticized it as disrespectful, fans loved the creativity.
For his second.
Lays it off, and it's a hat-trick for Suarez!
This penalty reminded the world that football is not just about results, it's also about joy and surprise. Messi and Uruguay's Sebastián El Loco Abreu pulled off one of the boldest penalties ever at the 2010 World Cup in the quarterfinal against Ghana. With the shootout on the line, Abreu calmly chipped the ball straight down the middle.
In the semis. Abra. Oh, dribbled it in. Uruguay go through.
It was almost identical to Panenka's, but the stakes were higher. If he'd missed, Uruguay would have been out. Instead, his cheeky chip sent Uruguay to the semifinals. Fans called it crazy, fearless, and brilliant all at once. Abreu's penalty showed that sometimes the biggest risk is the smartest move. It became one of the most iconic shootout moments ever and earned Abreu the nickname El Loco forever. Fane 3 Asamoah Gyan's painful miss 2010 dars in the same 2010 World Cup match, Ghana's Asamoah Gyan had the chance to make history. In the final minute of extra time, he stepped up to take a penalty that would have made Ghana the first African team to reach a World Cup semifinal. The weight of a continent was on his shoulders. But Gyan smashed the ball against the crossbar and the chance was gone.
To send Ghana into the semi-finals of the World Cup. And he hits the bar!
That miss wasn't just a football moment, it was emotional trauma for millions. Gyan later said it haunted him for years. It remains one of the most heartbreaking penalties in history, proving how a single kick can change everything. Fane 2 Roberto Baggio's miss 94 at the 1994 World Cup final between Brazil and Italy was decided by penalties. Stepping up for Italy, Roberto Baggio, one of the greatest players ever, had to score to keep his team alive. Instead, he blasted the ball over the crossbar, handing Brazil the trophy. The image of Baggio standing with his head down became one of football's most iconic and saddest moments. That miss haunted his legacy. Even though he was Italy's hero throughout the tournament, it was cruel, tragic, and unforgettable. Football can be beautiful, but in that moment, it showed its harshest side.
Throughout this tournament, he's missed it, and Brazil win the World Cup.
For many, Baggio's miss is the most famous penalty in history. Fane 1 Diana Ross's opening ceremony miss 1994. Yes, you read that right. At the opening ceremony of the 1994 World Cup, pop legend Diana Ross was asked to take a ceremonial penalty. With the world watching, she ran up, kicked the ball wide of the goal, and the net collapsed as if she had scored. It wasn't a real game, but it instantly became legendary for how hilariously bad it was. It's not often a penalty miss overshadows football itself, but Ross's attempt lives on in World Cup history. Sometimes the craziest penalties don't come from players, but from celebrities under pressure. It's proof that even in football's biggest show, the unexpected can steal the spotlight. From genius Panenkas to heartbreaking misses and even celebrity blunders, penalties have given football some of its craziest and most unforgettable moments. They show the thin line between hero and villain, between glory and humiliation. Which penalty on this list shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe to Goal Rush for more insane football stories. You never know, the next crazy penalty might be just around the corner.